están, amigos de YouTube? Yo soy Shark. Vamos a continuar con una historia muy interesante de Vampiro. Pero ahora lo vamos a hacer a través de video, porque el directito le quita mucha calidad. Entonces quiero que ustedes tengan la mejor calidad posible y lo vamos a hacer así a partir de ahora, ¿vale? Espero que lo disfruten, chicos. Y pues bueno, vamos a continuar. Tenemos que informarle al Lord Ripley, ¿eso? Sobre Doris Fletcher. Bueno, primero, buen hombre. Y ahorita vemos que sí. A ver. Polvo de aluminio, esquilo de aluminio. Y ya, vamos por acá. A ver hacia dónde vamos. Estamos en Whitechapel. Tenemos que ir hasta acá. Vale, vamos por aquí. Hice algunas cosas fuera del directo, fuera de cámaras. Fue mejorar mi masa, la es más poderosa. En este vampiro que siente. Inútil. Mi mazo creo que ahora ya es legendario, super pro. Hace más daño que aturde, entonces ahora me cuesta más trabajo morderles el pescuezo porque los mato antes de poderlos aturdir lo suficiente. Y estuve como buscando algunos de los, ¿cómo se llaman estos? Coleccionables. Y llegué a alcanzar hasta 13.585 puntos de experiencia. Entonces ahorita vamos a hablar con este señor y ya dependiendo si lo requiere el mismo juego, dormimos y subimos de nivel, ¿vale? Pero bueno, les comento lo que hice para que sepan. Vamos la vida. No me he comido a ninguno hasta ahora. Aquí no puedo pasar todavía, ¿verdad? Así que puedo. Ah, pues sí. Creí que era el otro, como el distrito que está hasta arriba, no sé cómo se llama. Y que me iba a atacar. Esa es la loquita de las ratas. Sí. No sé si ya puedo entrar por ahí. ¿No? Sí, ya puedo. Como ya soy miembro del club, ya puedo. Pero madame, ¿qué hace usted aquí?
Elizabeth, what are you doing here?
I've been formally asked to witness your triumph, my dear. After all, isn't it the natural role of a woman to support her man in victory?
But it's you who insisted I join the Ascalon.
Please forgive my giddiness. I'm just overcome by the thrill of finally being allowed within these hallowed halls.
You certainly have an inquisitive mind. It's quite something. Elizabeth Ashbury, only you can make me smile in these difficult times.
And the same to you, Jonathan Reed. Now go have your little chat with the chairman. I can see he's practically bursting to hear your report.
Algo se está cocinando algo. Se va a armar, chicos, se va a armar. Vale, ¿dónde está el Lord este? Lord Farquaad. Pues no está. Ah, yo sé que es este, creo.
Welcome back to the Ascalon Club, Lance-Bearer. Please, tell us the good news. Have you put an end to the epidemic?
My hypothesis was correct. Doris Fletcher was the source of the contagion in this part of town. She was probably the first to be infected.
And you cleansed her before the hunters, I've been told. Well done, Dr. Reed. You thrust your lance and pierced the very heart of the corruption.
I did my best.
The important thing is, we won a major battle for the survival of London. For that, we salute you.
Thank you, my lord.
Now, I have another task for you. One of the utmost importance. Perhaps even more so than the previous.
I'm listening.
It's time for you to perform a most sacred duty for the club. I want you to recruit a new vampire.
Recruit a new vampire? Are you sending me on some sort of diplomatic mission?
Not exactly. I want you to make Aloysius Dawson the Ekon he deserves to be.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. Now go.
How would you like me to proceed?
Aloysius is waiting for you at the Dawson estate. Once the deed is done, I'll join you there to celebrate this momentous occasion.
Your word is my command.
Vale, pues parece que tenemos que convertir al ancianito en un vampirito. ¿Quién es usted, señor?
I know we're facing a crisis, but I'm shocked no one took the time to clean up the mess inside the club since we were attacked.
Are you all right, Jonathan?
Lord Redgrave has just ordered me to turn Aloysius Dawson, to make him my progeny.
I see. And how do you feel about this?
I'd like your advice on the matter.
The real question here is, why has his lordship given you this task?
Do you think it's some sort of trap?
Do you really want to know what I think about this?
I do, yes.
To make an immortal of a soulless blackguard like Aloysius Dawson will only lead to a disaster for London. The man is already dead inside.
Should I refuse? Perhaps politely suggest that Lord Redgrave turn the man into a vampire himself.
Don't you dare, my dear. According to what I've recently discovered, his lordship could kill you for even broaching the subject.
Really? Why?
I've recently found proof that the Earl of Bristol is of lesser lineage and only capable of creating skulls.
Please tell me more about your recent investigation.
As long as you lower your voice.
¿Ya escucharon? O sea que ese vampiro dice que el mero solo puede crear vampiros skulls, de esos que están todos locos, que no tienen ni idea de lo que hacen.
What would you have me do about Dawson?
The man is dangerous. Did you know he plans to build a wall to separate the healthy rich from the sickly poor? Do not make him your progeny.
What would you do?
The man's dying already. Let the reaper harvest the rotten fruit that is his soul.
What would happen if I made Dawson an Ekon like myself?
You would add a powerful immortal into a suffering world. An immortal who already craves authority.
Maybe I could teach him control, like you taught me. Lead him down the right path.
Mr. Dawson spent his life searching for a way to cheat death. I'm sure he has spent decades dreaming of how he'd spend eternity as a tyrant.
Are you sure your information about Redgrave is correct? He says he's the progeny of the great knight William Marshall, who lived some 9 centuries ago.
That's a lie. Lord Redgrave is unable to create anything but skulls, if the poor souls survive at all.
How can you be sure the information was correct?
I made the acquaintance of a most interesting informer while investigating your maker, from whom I learned the truth about Lord Redgrave.
Why so vindictive? You suddenly sound like you're angry.
Forgive me, Jonathan. I hate myself for it, but I feel such pride in my discovery. I'm afraid I just can't help it.
Which is?
He did serve William Marshall. And yes, the blood he covets as a token does truly belong to that legendary knight. But he was never his progeny. His lineage is not so noble.
Vale.
Goodbye for now, Elizabeth.
Goodbye, my dear.
Aquí
Please,
tengo
be
dos
careful.
cosas, chiquillos. Una, ella me está diciendo que no lo haga, que mejor que se lo lleve la muerte. Otra, estaría buena tener un combate con un vampiro poderoso como sería ese señor. Pero yo creo que lo voy a matar. Bueno, depende de qué opciones me dé también el juego, porque yo estoy diciendo una cosa y qué tal si realmente es otra. ¿Dónde está? Por cierto. Ok, me falta investigar un poquito más por aquí, Lady Ashby. ¿Dónde está este? Primero, ni siquiera es aquí. Vale, pues yo creo que... Muy bien, pues vamos por este bendito abuelo.
It looks like vampires have to obey Mendel's laws when producing progeny. Powers pass from one generation to another. That's why Dawson wants me to sire him.
Aparte porque engendro puro vampiro poderoso. Creo que nuestra hermana era más poderosa que nosotros. Me mató 4 veces. Si no lo han visto, compruébenlo en el... Creo que es el tercer directo que hice. Ahí está. La rastriza que me metí. Pero si no puedo...
It's locked, all right. I should find another way to get into the neighborhood.
Ya la estoy buscando por día. Se pueden tocar. Y nos vamos por aquí. A ver. Exactamente en dónde está esto. Está aquí abajo. Esto está aquí, ¿no? No, está aquí arriba. Aquí. Está por aquí. Enfrente. Y luego de aquí. Maldito de las todo busqué y no lo encontré. Diría que
I think this passage could lead me close to Aloysius Dawson's mansion.
Vale, pues a ver. Vamos por la cloaca. Aquí hay ratitas. Por aquí. Vamos por acá. Que es por aquí. Algo subió.
It's locked. It's locked, all right.
Ok, esto está cerrado. ¿Esto lo confirmas? Ah, esto lo baja. Vale. Daré un pelín. Aún así, aunque logre hacer esto, no. Vale. No me pregunté qué hice, porque no lo sé. Vamos a abrir la puerta de acá para darnos de tonterías. ¿Qué es eso? Nivel es 30. Son altos, pero no lo suficiente para jugar conmigo. ¿Creen que abajo hay algo? Ok, eso está abajo. Ah, se cierra.
I cannot enter.
Da igual. Si era así, ¿no? Sí. Ah. Cajita. Ratitas. Okay. Es una mujer. Es Lois. Esa también la tenía que encontrar. Espérame. Quiero ver a dónde me lleva esto. Supongo que con esto salgo al distrito. Pero voy a ayudar a esa mujer. Hacha como... Tenemos que ayudar a esa damisela en problemas. Creo que me esperé tantito. Ya, vamos. Vamos a ayudarla, que está sufriendo más abajo de aquí. Y ahorita subimos.
You London vampire!
Disgusting asshole! Vampire or not, I'll never be your wife!
La llevas entonces. Mi ataque más fuerte no le hizo nada. Es resistente a los ataques de sangre. ¿Dónde la tenía la pobre?
Miss Teasdale, are you all right?
How do you know my name? Who are you?
My name is Dr. Reed. I managed to track you down thanks to your father.
So my father really was looking after me. This man, this vampire told me my father was dead. Is it true?
I'm afraid so, miss. I'm so sorry for your loss. But you are free to go, as your abductor is no more.
I suppose my jailer also killed my father, didn't he?
Thankfully, he did not search your father's corpse, where I found his notes describing where he might find you. You should read them.
I must find my father's body. He deserves a proper burial.
Vamos a darle medicina. No le puedo dar medicina. Pero me la puedo comer. Pero no me la va a comer.
Goodbye, Miss Teasdale, and be careful. Until we meet again.
Quiero darle medicina.
You should return to a safe...
Thank you for your sympathy, Doctor. But I
No me deja darle medicina ahora mismo.
Goodbye.
Este maldito vampirito andaba con todo, ¿eh? Y ahora ya váyase. Bueno, ahora sí ya vamos hacia afuera. ¿Se dan cuenta? Poco a poco va subiendo mi sangre. Mi vida. Es necesario curarnos. Vale, continuamos. Vamos a abrir estas benditas puertas de una vez. Ya para tener acceso al distrito. Vamos a abrirla de aquí arriba. Ah, qué fastidio estar. Price. Vamos a hablar con la gente.
Dr. Reed.
Good evening, Miss Price. I'm Dr. Reed. Do you remember me?
Dr. Reed? Yes, of course. You are the doctor who healed me and my mum. Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Good to see you too, Carol. Are you all right?
Oh, yes. I did not hurt myself recently. I know how to take care of myself now. I'm almost a grown-up.
Miren Londres.
Why are you awake at night, Carol?
I am helping my mother in her shop. It's not easy, but I'm a grown-up now.
Why is work not easy? Is something or someone bothering you?
Oh no, most people are gentle with me. But I'm so nervous sometimes. I pay no attention and hurt myself. Good thing my mum learned first aid.
Oh, o sea, esta muchacha se
I'm sure
lanzó
your
un
mother
maraca
is
sola.
grateful for your help.
I do the best I can. But I'm so clumsy sometimes. I drop things. I injure myself. It's a good thing my mother has the patience of an angel.
No, no me la voy a comer, pobrecita.
What can you tell me of the people living nearby?
I don't speak to many people, except our customers. It's not easy to make friends. And with the epidemic, it's even more difficult.
What can you tell me about the epidemic?
Some of our regular customers have left London. Some others only send their housemaids now. Everybody fears the contagion. I've even seen men with weapons.
Have you no friends at all?
No. Mr. Nithercote used to pass by and was always nice to me.
Does he not come by anymore?
No. Mum said he was weird. Always reciting poetry about a girl he'd met in Whitechapel. I wonder who this camellia may be.
Camelia, la mudita que me voy a comer.
Do you enjoy working with your mother?
Oh yes, Doctor. My mother raised me alone after my father died. We've always lived together, and she has always watched over me.
Do you remember your father?
No, I was just a baby then. My mother always told me how strong and good he was.
Do you ever think about getting married now you're a woman?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. Mum always says I'm still a child who has no idea how tough life can be. No husband would like a clumsy girl like me.
Do you enjoy?
Oh yes, Doctor.
Do you?
Oh yes,
Otra
Doctor.
vez.
Have you ever met the famous Aloysius Dawson?
Yes. A very strange man. Not very nice.
What do you mean?
He said he was ready to pay good money for rare books, and then laughed at what we showed him.
Goodbye.
Está loquito, ¿no? Motivo más para matarlo, como ven. Vamos a ver qué nos llevamos por aquí. ¿Dónde está la señora que está? Dice mi nombre. Yo también quiero entrar.
It's locked, all right. It's locked, all right.
Cerrado.
If you're not too tired, could you help your mummy?
Aren't you the sweetest daughter ever? Carol, give your mummy a kiss.
Yes, I love you too, Mother.
Be careful, Carol. You're wasting good food here.
Yes, Mother.
I said be careful, child.
¿Qué?
Sorry, sweetheart. Mummy has been so clumsy again.
No, that's okay. It won't bleed for long.
You're so pale. Are you feeling sick? Do you need to see a doctor?
No, I'm fine. I already saw the doctor last week.
Don't be silly. You must see a doctor. Just don't tell him how clumsy your mummy is, all right? I love you so much, my baby.
I love you too, Mother.
La señora está loca y es la que la corta. Ajá. ¿Me la como? Me la voy a comer. Me la voy a comer. A ver, venga para acá, hija de sushi. Sushi. Venga acá.
Good evening, Miss Price. How are you tonight?
Dr. Reed, I didn't know you had returned from the war. I had a new doctor when you left, but he's not as kind as you.
Always glad to see a former patient in good condition. It's been a long time.
Too long indeed. And as a token of my appreciation, I'll grant you the best price if you fancy buying anything from my humble shop.
Me la puedo comer, claro que sí.
What can you tell me about yourself, Miss Price?
I'm still managing my shop. The only difference is, since the quarantine, we're open at night. You, on the contrary, seem to have changed a lot.
Really? Have I changed that much? It must have been the war. And the night shifts since my return.
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reed, you're still handsome. Just maybe a little bit wiser, more serious. It suits you well.
Tell me more about yourself. No new fiancé? I remember you were hoping to get remarried. I'm sure you must have a few suitors.
Who would marry an old bat like myself with a grown daughter and a little business? As you know, I only fancy handsome men like yourself.
La señora quiere un poco del Dr. Reed.
Have you noticed anything in particular in this part of town recently?
Other than you coming back to cheer me up? Nothing at all, Dr. Reed.
Carol's gratitude is exemplary. She seems determined never to leave you.
I'm taking care of my daughter as well as I can. It's not always easy, but she's the best gift life gave me.
But she'll probably leave you someday to live her own life. Will that be difficult for you?
Why would she leave? Children sometimes stay with their parents until the end, for they know no one else will love them as much.
May I look at your goods?
It's always a pleasure to have you here, Dr. Reed.
¿Qué tiene de bueno? Los remaches. Podría comprar un par. Estas las encuentro. Pero no, vamos a dejarlo así. A
It's
ver.
locked.
No, no se me vaya, no se me
Good
vaya.
evening, Miss.
You know...
Does your daughter still worry you, Miss Price? I remember you were often concerned about her health when she was younger.
Have you not seen Carol since you returned? She's almost a young woman now. But she'll always remain my sweet little baby.
So you're less afraid.
Some things never change. Carol is still too clumsy for her own good. Sometimes her innocence puts her in real danger.
Why would her innocence put her in danger?
She does not realize how cruel life can be. Maybe I was a bad mother to protect her too much. My poor dear Carol.
You have every reason to be cautious, Miss Price. Especially in these difficult times.
Maybe you could talk with her, Dr. Reed. It would be nice to have a man here more often. We would both feel safer.
La señora quiere mucho del Dr. Reed.
Tell me, Carolyn, do you often wound or hurt your daughter by mistake?
No. I always thought it was Carol's clumsiness that caused these incidents. Maybe it's a family trait, Doctor.
You really believe it's just bad luck and being clumsy then?
Of course, Doctor. What else could it be? I have nothing to hide.
You are responsible for your daughter's many injuries and scars, Carolyn. You brutalize her, don't you?
How could I abuse my own flesh and blood? This is nonsense. It would be like hurting myself.
You really believe you've done nothing wrong, don't you? How long has this been going on for? I should have seen it when you were my patients.
Seen what? Child abuse? Are you mad, Dr. Reed? I dedicated my whole life to my precious Carol. She is a part of me.
Yes. Even her name is just a part of yours. This is a terrible tragedy. Something of an unknown disorder. My God. Abuse that comes from overwhelming love.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. How dare you say something like that? What kind of a monster do you think I am?
El peor.
Speak to me, Carolyn. Why do you behave like this? How does it make you feel to hurt Carol before cajoling her?
I don't know. It makes me feel good to take care of my daughter. I need to feel useful. No one ever takes care of me. I need someone to take care of me.
Do you realize Carol is a person? Not a toy. Not a doll. The poor girl would put her hand in a flame to please you. You are both trapped in this toxic relationship.
Carol and I are perfectly happy. Leave us be. How stupid I was to believe you could be a suitable husband.
A ver, me quería de marido.
I'm not judging you, Carolyn. I believe you're a victim too. I'm just trying to explain that you need medical help.
You will not separate me from my flesh and blood, Dr. Reed. We'd rather die.
Bueno, me las puedo comer, eso está claro. Pero voy a dejarla vivir un ratito.
Do you know Aloysius Dawson?
Everybody knows him. He's only been to my shop once, though, looking for rare books and other intriguing antiques.
Did he buy something from you?
No, he left quickly. He almost laughed at my goods. Mr. Dawson may be a rich man, but you can't buy good manners.
But isn't Aloysius Dawson known for his philanthropy?
That was before his brother Robert died in an aeroplane crash. Since then, the remaining twin has turned into a heartless tycoon.
Goodbye for now, Miss Price.
I hope you can stay a little longer this time.
Me quería de marido la doña esta, No la culpo. Dr. Reed es un tipazo. Vamos, Carol, sube, necesito hablar contigo. Su cara.
Dr. Reed, I am glad.
Vamos a esperar a que suba para hablar con ella. Pero bueno, mientras hablemos con este sujeto.
Good evening, sir. May I ask you what you're doing here at this late hour?
I'm conducting an investigation about the epidemic in this part of town.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. May I ask who you are and why all the questions?
I'm Detective Inspector Charles Albright from Scotland Yard. And I don't find your answers convincing. What is a Pembroke doctor doing in the West End at this time of night?
I work for the Ascalon Club. Here is my permit to go freely about the city.
The Ascalon Club? You should have said so, sir. I must warn you, these streets are dangerous, and you'd better be careful.
Se debe cuidar es usted, maldito.
What can you tell me about this district?
I'm the one asking questions, especially when there's a killer on the loose.
What killer?
I'm not going to discuss that with the civilians, sir.
Haven't I told you about the investigation I'm conducting? Perhaps I could help you.
All right, without giving you too much information, I'll tell you this. I'm convinced there is a homicidal maniac on the loose, using the epidemic to disguise his kills.
Okay.
And what about the epidemic?
We both know the situation is critical, don't we, Doctor? Colleagues of mine die almost every day.
What are you really doing here?
I told you. I'm a detective inspector from Scotland Yard, investigating suspicious cases in the area.
Do you work alone?
Yes, the situation is difficult for the police. Many of us are sick, and since the summer strike, most men apply a work to rule on their patrols.
What about the situation in the East End? Why are there no police there to protect the civilians?
I know, it's a shame, but we just don't have enough men to cover the entire city.
Why are you investigating at night?
Criminals rarely act in daylight, you know. But since you are also a night worker, have you noticed anything strange which requires police attention?
Does the name Fergal ring a bell? Fergal Bancher.
Of course it does. Fergal Bancher, the Butcher of Galway. Hung in Dublin in 1857 for murdering more than 20 men with his bare hands. Why are you so interested in dead criminals, sir?
Tell me all you know about that homicidal maniac you're looking for.
I'm not even sure there is only one. The wounds are always the same, but the modus operandi varies. Sometimes violent and brutal, sometimes precise and swift.
How could different killers inflict the same wounds?
That's my main problem. If my theory is correct, maybe we're facing a group of individuals sharing the same violent tendencies. Perhaps a sadist cult.
Hey, a ver si espero que no esté hablando de nosotros.
What are you investigating, exactly?
I currently have a few missing persons cases. Mr. Tadao Kimura and Miss Louise Teasdale. I'm afraid they may have been abducted by my mysterious maniac.
Ah, pero ya lo maté.
Tell me about Louise Teasdale.
She's a waitress. Her father reported her missing. We don't have enough men to search for her, sadly.
Do you have any idea where she could be?
No. But I feel she's been abducted. She went to a pub a few nights ago and vanished. I thought about the sewers, but I'm not equipped for such an
Ya
investigation.
la encontré y hasta la salvé.
Tell me about Mr. Kimura.
Mr. Kimura is a
También a Kimura
businessman
ya lo
who's been
salvamos.
missing for a few days. He didn't go home, didn't go to work, didn't go back to his family.
Where was he last seen?
Mr. Kimura was last seen at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. I followed a possible lead in the West End, but I found nothing.
No, muñeco. Yo debería ser policía mejor.
Do you know anything in particular about a man called Aloysius Dawson?
Who doesn't know the man? I think he intervened personally to put an end to the police strike of last August.
What else can you tell me about him?
Aloysius Dawson is exactly the kind of powerful and influential man who could commit murder and get away with it, with just one phone call.
Era lo que les decía, parece que parece que el señor sí es muy malo, como
Goodbye,
nos advirtió
Detective Inspector.
nuestra Lady
Goodbye, Dr. Jonathan
Ashbury.
Reed. I'm
Pero lo
sure
vamos a
we'll
matar
talk
seguro,
again soon.
seguro. ¿Ya salió la gordita de su escondite? No, sigue ahí abajo. Está saludable. Vamos a abrir la otra puerta, a ver qué más nos encontramos. Y seguimos en la historia principal. Surprise, surprise, surprise. ¿Cómo con este hombre? Estamos en palo. ¿A poco sí? ¿A poco sí crees con qué? Pues nada. Son poderosos, creo que sí vamos a tener que dormir y mejorar nuestras habilidades. Pero antes vamos a abrir la puerta para tener ya libre acceso a este distrito. Exacto. Shock. ¿Este es el asesino que buscan? Ah, no, notas en público. Es como el mismísimo COVID, ¿no? No vivo en público, casi.
Sorry, sir. No admittance.
Ah, ven acá. Esquivador. Postura, le vamos a dar más poderes que tenemos. Invocando al mismísimo Jesus Christ, podrás conmigo. Vamos sin resistencia. Que venga el achichinga. Muere el achichinga. Ah, me quita sangre eso. Asunto arreglado. Voy a pasar para allá. Creo que ya es momento de ir a ver a este hombre. ¿Aquí? Ese podría ser un acceso. Ah, pero no, no es aquí. Este es otro lugar. Vale, pues. Investiguemos.
Dawson's mansion. Here I am at last. But the question remains. Am I ready to make a dying man my progeny?
No, no lo vamos a convertir, lo vamos a matar. Eso es un hecho. Vamos a ver qué nos robamos de por aquí. Anillos, nitratos ferrosos. ¿Ustedes saben cuál es el mejor anticonceptivo del mundo? Es un compuesto químico. Se llama nitrato de meterlo. Chiste malo. A mí me parece muy divertido. Ay. Espero que les haya gustado. A los que les gustó, ahí pongan en los comentarios que les gustó mi chiste. Y a los que no, ojalá y les dé diarrea. Ok. A ver. Vamos a empezar planta baja a planta alta. ¿Dónde está el señor? Ahí está. Vamos a empezar entonces planta alta hacia planta baja. Vale. A ver.
It's locked.
Necesitamos una pequeña llave. Seguramente ese hombre nos las va a dar cuando lo matemos. Ok, por aquí puedo entrar. Aquí hay algo. Dice que está allá, pero vamos a seguir buscando.
It's locked, all right.
Cerrado con llave. Aquí está el hombre muriendo. Aquí no puedo entrar, ¿verdad? No. Vale, pues ya. Vamos a darle cráneo al alacrán. Ahí atrás
Finally,
de
you're
abajo.
here, Dr. Reed. What took you so long?
I had to pass several of your barricades and outposts to access your mansion, sir.
Death, pestilence surround us, and time is against me.
I see you've gathered some of the most expensive, albeit experimental, blood transfusion equipment available. All this could be so useful in a hospital.
Yes. Since Lord Redgrave sent me a doctor to perform my conversion, I thought you might find some of these devices useful.
Most thoughtful. But tonight I'm not here as a physician.
But I feel reassured that a specialist such as yourself would help me to escape the Reaper.
Oh, nene, no la
Very
vas a
well.
decir.
But before I proceed,
Vamos a ver qué clase de gente es.
I have a
Ya
few
sabemos que es de lo
questions
peorcito.
for you.
If you must, but be quick, for I don't have much time left in this life.
First of all, I need to be sure that you know exactly what is going to happen to you, sir.
I can assure you I'm as informed as any man can be. I have planned for this moment, Dr. Reed. Planned very carefully.
Ok.
Sir, I'm going to end your life. Do you not wish to discuss the procedure for even a minute?
I don't have a minute to indulge in idle chatter. I can't feel my legs. And the cold. So cold.
I will become your maker. Do you understand what that means?
Well, I certainly won't consider you my liege, or some such drivel. You can be assured of that.
You'll need to feed on warm blood. Blood from mortals. How do you feel about that?
I'm rich, Dr. Reed, and powerful. I'm sure I'll be able to acquire all the blood I need without ever having to sully my own hands.
Como se darán cuenta, es una caca de persona.
What do you know about the Guard of Priwen?
What I do know is that I'll crush anyone or anything that would dare to oppose me.